You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that is honest, reveals the facts, truth, and statistics, and does not mess around. Follow me, Taylor Phillips, on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Email me at TaylorGatorPhillips14@yahoo.com. Follow Ed Smith on Twitter at EdSmith313, and go to our website at MichiganSportsTruth.com. Also like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth, and join our Facebook group with the same name. The Michigan Sports Truth podcast on Spreaker is also available on iHeartRadio and SoundCloud. Also a subsidiary of Sports Radio Detroit, thus available on iTunes and Podbean. This podcast is particularly not for entertainment purposes, and the views expressed by the host of this podcast are opinion-based. However, they do not come without facts, research, statistics, and truth, whether other people like it or not, and no matter how harsh or complicated it may be. This is the Michigan Sports Truth, and nothing can ever stop it from being correct.
Hey there, Michigan sports fanatics, and welcome to the Michigan Sports Truth, episode 259 on Spreaker. I'm Taylor Phillips, along with Frank Vasner, who is filling in for Ed Smith, who is getting called into work late at night. You can follow Frank Vasner on Twitter at Frank_Vasner, VAJCNER. Frank, how are we doing tonight?
Doing a lot better than I was last week. I'm finally over that upper respiratory bug that I had.
Awesome. Well, we got plenty to discuss. Not a whole lot, though, because the college basketball season is now over, and North Carolina is the national champions. Without the shadow of a doubt, they played a close one, but North Carolina proved to be the best team, but this is the Michigan Sports Truth, and we got more important matters to discuss with our Red Wings, our Pistons, the Tigers, even a little bit of Lions, and a Larry Nassar update.
Yeah.
So, why don't we get started on the Red Wings first. Well, not much in our weekend review. They lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-4 in regulation at the Joe. About a week ago on Saturday. Austin Matthews with 2 goals and an assist. The Red Wings, taking advantage of a struggling Senators team from Ottawa, winning 5-4 in a shootout Monday night. Evgeny Svechnikov, of all people, getting the game-winning shootout in the 7th round.
I love it!
I mean, all I can say for Svechnikov is that should just boost his confidence for when he plays in the future NHL games. But still, you got to look for your first real NHL goal, as shootout goals do not count. But from what I did get to see of him, even though I was kind of keeping tabs on that as well as the national championship game Monday night, I did like what I saw from him, and hopefully he can continue to improve his game and move on to bigger things with the Red Wings.
That's true. And then the Senators got their revenge by shutting out the Red Wings 2-0 the night after at Canadian Tire Center on Tuesday night. And since then, the Red Wings have had 3 days rest, including tonight. They're still 5th worst in the NHL with 76 points at 32, 36, and 12. They have 2 games left. Home against the Montreal Canadiens Saturday at 7. That's tomorrow. And Sunday at 5 to wrap up their season at the Joe against the New Jersey Devils, who have also been struggling. The New Jersey Devils still have 70 points after their loss to the Penguins. That was a wild game at Prudential Center against the Pittsburgh Penguins, but a regulation loss is a regulation loss. The Red Wings can now only settle for the 6th overall draft pick since you squeeze in the Las Vegas Golden Knights' 2nd overall draft pick, with the Arizona Coyotes already having been crawling up to the Devils, Canucks, Red Wings, Stars, and Panthers and Sabres. The Red Wings can stay below the Dallas Stars and Florida Panthers. Each of those two teams have 77 points. The Sabres with 78 points.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out, because with the Red Wings remaining scheduled against Montreal and New Jersey, I did actually see something on Sportsnet's website where I believe that Montreal might be resting their opinions. I know that Shea Weber will not play tomorrow night. I guess that Paul Julian wants to give him some rest to not risk any injuries to him.
I apologize for the technical difficulties here.
I do believe that Carey Price is going to play in net for the Habs, but I'm not really sure if anyone else who's going to rest. We'll have to find out tomorrow at morning skate.
Mm-hmm. And like you pointed out earlier on Talk Show, the Canadians have already clinched the Atlantic Division. The Capitals have already, as we already witnessed, have already clinched the President's Trophy. So there's nothing else for the Canadians to clinch. So,
yeah, they are already locked into a matchup with the New York Rangers in the playoffs. So they can pretty much just rest all their starters and basically just probably throw out half of their AHL team from St. John's on Saturday.
that's true. That's really, really true. So both the Red Wings and Montreal Canadiens are calling up their players. For example, Matt Laredo from the Grand Rapids Griffins will make his NHL debut Saturday at 7 against the Montreal Canadiens. We might see Laredo get playing time against the Devils as well on Sunday late afternoon, early evening.
Yeah, I did hear Laredo was called up. I believe it's because Athanasiou is still injured.
Is he? Oh,
I thought I saw a tweet somewhere saying that he was called up in the event where I believe they said that Andreas Athanasiou couldn't go, but I don't expect Laredo to get play time. I guess if they're going to be auditioning for jobs next year, may as well do it at this point. Is you've got really nothing more to gain. You're out of the playoffs. It's just play out the rest of the regular season, and before you end up hitting Oakland Hills or whatever golf course on Monday.
Yep. And from there on forward, Joe Louis Arena is about to be demolished afterwards, before the Red Wings can move on to their new arena, the Little Caesars Arena. Speaking of injuries, Anthony Manta's fractured finger does not require surgery, but he will be out for the remainder of the regular season. At least it's not broken. That's why it's not requiring any surgery.
Yeah, that's good to know. At least I guess he just has to keep it in a splint or whatever, just so up. Good thing is he's not going to have to get screws or pins put in.
Yep. All right, I guess that clears up all the Red Wings talk, and we forgot to mention
that
the Red Wings signed Dennis Cholowski to a 3-year entry-level contract. Plus, I got some part one and part two news from Prashant Iyer of Winging In Motown. He's on Twitter at Iyer_Prashant, IYER_PRASHANTH. I'm not sure if you read the both parts 1 and 2 of Prashant Iyer's very analytic predictions for the next 18 months. The Red Wings rode back, but
I actually have read him, and he did a phenomenal job with both pieces. But I think part 3, which is going to be about what you do going into the 2018 season, I'm really interested to see what he's going to say there, if it's going to involve any changes at the top with ownership, because we obviously know that the other families is going to sell the team, and if we get new people in new places and whatnot. And you want to make mention on the Cholowski signing. I actually had tweeted to Jeff Moss of the Detroit Sports Rag that I believe that Ken Holland had said he wanted Cholowski to stay in college for 4 years to work on his game, and then we get news that they signed him to a deal. And I guess the speculation is that it was basically Cholowski and his agent who ended up making that call to sign early. So now he's basically going to play professionally, and the reaction that I've gotten from most people, Moss included, is that the dude's going to get eaten for breakfast, lunch, dinner in Grand Rapids, which I believe we talked about Wednesday night on Talk Shoe.
Yeah, and Cameron Barron kept disagreeing with us, but I finally got to make him agree on something. You can't just skate. You can't just play hockey with a stick in your body. Play the puck with your stick in the body. You got to put it all together. And he agreed. And
yeah.
And his only point before was just skating well, which definitely, which for the most part, which is the least part of being a good hockey player.
Yeah, excuse me. It's good. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if he's going to end up end up going to Grand Rapids right away and joining the team for the Calder Cup playoffs, or if he just may end up going down to Toledo and skating with the Walleye. We'll see. We're going to have to kind of wait and see what happens, but I'm honestly not expecting too much from him because he really didn't show all that much in his first year in college, other than the fact that when they talked, we saw him getting burned a lot defensively.
Yeah, especially in college. That was after his semi-pro career, in the BCHL, for example, where he put up more productive stats than his stats in the college career, evidently. And that explains why the Dennis Cholowski signing was a mistake. But whose mistake was it? We're going to find out on our 5 questions segment at the end of the show.
And also, I did want to add that I was reading Elliot Friedman's 30 Thoughts on Sportsnet, and I guess that he had spoken with Holland recently, and Holland basically said that Jeff Blashill's resume said he was good, and that I'm going to have to disagree with, because I believe it was Buck Gino had when I had said something about how Blashill was a coach who had success at the lower levels, but when he gets to the big time in the NHL, he went kaput. And I basically compared him to Mike Johnston, Willie Deschardins, Jared Bednar, and I want to say Joe Sacco. I know Buck and I had a little bit of conversation about that.
Yeah, Garrett Elliott, he's he had me blocked like a year or two ago. He's probably still a slapdick as far as I'm concerned. And
well, this was Elliot Friedman of sports.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of sports. He's one of the. He has his column on Sportsnet.ca. His 30 thoughts. It's actually a good read. He has some pretty interesting stuff to say, but he's not really. I wouldn't call him a Ken Holland apologist. He just basically reports what's being said. That's that.
Right. And just his opinion on Jeff Blashill, saying his resume says he's good, is wrong. That's
I mean that's all what Holland was saying that Blashill won a championship in the USHL, made Western Michigan relevant again, won a Calder Cup in the AHL, and blah blah blah. Look, for every John Tortorella and Barry Trotz, those are coaches who had success at lower levels that have succeeded at the NHL. You're going to have your Garrett Bednar, Mike Johnston, your Dallas Eakinses, your Willie Deschardenses, and so on and so forth. Just because you have success at the lower level, you're in the NHL.
Yeah, we're still experiencing technical difficulties. But yeah, I have to agree with you, Frank. Our Facebook Messenger is having a little connection difficulty here, but we are still on the air. Yeah, I think Jeff Blashill's done. He's got to be.
I mean, if he's not fired on April 10th, then his seat had better be a raging inferno going into next season.
Fair enough.
And also in Friedman's column, he mentioned how Holland's got 1 year left on his deal and asked him if he was going to hang it up because Holland's at the ripe age of 61, and there really, to me, it didn't seem like Holland gave an answer that he was going to stay or go or whatever. So I guess that's something that's just going to have to remain to be seen. I'll have to send you the link to the column.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now would be a good time to do so.
Alrighty. I'll go ahead and do that.
Good. While we do that, I'm going to transition to the Pistons here.
Left sideline, 3, and he answers.
Well, the Pistons continued their losing streak by blowing a 19-point lead, 39-20 in the second quarter, to lose 105-102 at the Palace to the Toronto Raptors because, again, Boban Marjanovic did not even play a single second. And then earlier tonight, prior to tonight, Stan Van Gundy, according to Dennis Rodman of NBA.com, on Twitter at Dennis Rodman, Stan Van Gundy says he's going to give Boban Marjanovic and Henry Ellenson more playing time. And so it happened. And Boban Marjanovic, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. Although it says 0 on the box score, Boban Marjanovic got actually got a block, and he led all players in scoring from the bench.
I love it!
While Andre Drummond scored just 8 points and 9 rebounds.
You are pathetic!
That is by far a new reason why Boban Marjanovic, a career high, by the way, a new reason why Boban Marjanovic should be the hashtag #1 center for the Pistons. Without the shadow of a doubt, Boban Marjanovic should start Sunday in Memphis as the Pistons take on the Grizzlies at FedEx Forum at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. The only issue they have left to address is their defense. They still gave up 109 points, but they brought a lot of offense, especially from Boban Marjanovic. And even Henry Allenson, he got 8 points the last I saw. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm going to look that up right now.
And I got your link of the 30 thoughts from sportsnet.ca. This is the Michigan Sports Truth postgame. This is the Michigan Sports Truth episode 259 on Spreaker. Taylor Phillips along with Frank Vashner filling in for Ed Smith. Aaron McMahon on Twitter at Aaron McMahon, the beat writer for the Pistons on MLive, just tweeted, turns out somehow hashtag Pistons are not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs just yet. Well, I already figured that out because they're 10th in the East at 36-43. They are 3 games back of the final playoff spot. 3 games left. They're at the Memphis Grizzlies at FedEx Forum Sunday at 6. Then they play their last ever game at the Palace of Auburn Hills Monday at 8 against the Washington Wizards. Then they wrap up their regular season in Orlando at Amway Arena against the Magic Wednesday at 8. If they want to make the playoffs, they had better win out on all three of those games, and hope that they actually get in, and hope that the other teams lose out. It seems it doesn't look good.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm not expecting but I did check on those stats for Henry Allenson, and he actually had 15 points tonight.
15 for Henry Allenson. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad for a rookie. Henry Allenson could make a really good bench player. Boban Marjanovic and Henry Allenson could show us something next season, shouldn't they?
I agree. And I would say Boban got the chance to prove himself, and he made the most of that opportunity.
He almost scored 30. He almost scored 30, for God's sake.
So he's able to do that, and he did. I mean, it's not like he was doing it against some dumpster fire team. He was doing it against the Houston Rockets, who are one of the top teams in the West. So if he's shown what he can do when given the chance, I think tonight the results more than speak for themselves.
Of course.
And the even better part of it is Baines did not play.
Thank God. And Grant Long was still calling Aaron Baines a good player when he's not injured. No, he's not. I don't recall the last time Aaron Baines was injured. Maybe he was just day to day or something like that. But Aaron Baines, regardless, still can't rebound the ball or score. Boban Marjanovic was unanimously outplaying Aaron Baines the whole time this season in our minds, in our eyes. Grant Long is Grant Long and Matt Shepard, I watched on Fox Sports Detroit's Pistons Live postgame show. They were downplaying Boban Marjanovic's foot speed, but they gave credit to his overall performance, but they cared more about his foot speed and they downplayed it, which I don't think is as important as the stats show for Boban Marjanovic. What he can do, and he can do a hell of a lot as a center. He can score. He can rebound the ball, especially with both of his hands in traffic. He can hit free throws, and he can play defense. He even made a long pass ahead to Ish Smith for a layup finish, as I saw tonight in Houston on television. Boban finished with 2 assists, one of them being a great play to Ish Smith. Boban is a playmaker. He can set up a lot of screens too.
Exactly. And now we've seen the results. Well, I think we can say, there you go. His results speak for themselves. He's got to be the number one guy going into the off season, and that means the organization is going to have to ship Andre Drummond out. Obviously, let Baines walk. But then the bigger question becomes, who becomes the backup man behind Boban?
Well, if the Pistons still think Boban's got to learn more, and still want Boban Marjanovic to play as a backup, they can actually go after Pau Gasol, or Marc Gasol rather. Marc Gasol is more available than Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol is going to finish his career in San Antonio. I heard from Dave Campbell on Twitter at DWC462. And he suggested Marc Gasol instead, and says he's available and he's a really good center.
I wouldn't mind Marc Gasol being brought in. He's been in the league for 2 years.
Frank, I'm losing you.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that if they bring Marc Gasol in, then he's someone who can take Boban under his wing and just kind of help him with the areas of the game where he needs more work on, help him get better and become.
Christ's sake. I'm losing you again.
Hang on 1 sec. Sorry, I don't know if I guess I don't know if my Wi-Fi was cutting out or not.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be a way to speed that thing up, or adjust or readjust it or something. But Marc Gasol and Boban Marjanovic can be two great center units. A great center unit, one by one, and as a team as well. And otherwise, other than the center position, their defense still needs to be fixed, especially because they can't guard the 3-point line, or somehow just forget to or refuse to. It's been an issue all along the last few years now. Even Stan Van Gundy can't coach this Pistons lack of D.
Yeah, I mean that's something that they're going to have to just take it upon themselves to improve. Because unless there's going to be some free agent available who's also a lockdown defender, or players are just going to have to take it upon themselves to say, hey, we just got to defend the 3-point line much better than we are now. we're just going to have to work on it.
I'd have to agree. So that's all the Pistons talk. Glad Boban Marjanovic is finally getting a lot more playing time and producing a lot more than Stan Van Gundy had all season long. But we recall with Boban Marjanovic's other double-double at the Palace against the Hornets, 15 points, 19 assists. But Boban Marjanovic, a new career high, 27 points, 12 rebounds. Boban's getting even. This is already a sign that Boban playing a lot better as a Piston. But now it's getting to the point where Boban Marjanovic might get a starting center position with this team.
And I would say that, to me, he's
Frank, come back in.
I'm still here.
Yep. Yeah, still warbling here. Frank, are you there?
I'm still here, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I couldn't hear your last statement.
Yeah, I was just saying, to me, Boban has proven that he can be a starter in this league, and he should be given that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Especially after tonight's performance. In fact, you know what? I'd start him in the final 3 games of the season.
Absolutely, yeah, because Boban can prove even more. Heck, if he can get even more playing time than a little bit more playing time tonight, he can even post over 30 points and put up more double doubles. 5 of them total.
I would agree too. I mean, he's 7'3". He's a matchup nightmare. And plus he got the results to go along with it. Case dismissed.
Yeah. Case solved.
Yep.
So, going to move on to some Tigers here.
That one is long gone.
Tigers started their regular season in Chicago against the White Sox. They won 6-3. Justin Verlander pitched 6 1/3 innings. Justin Wilson and Bruce Rondon obviously had a good game. Justin Wilson doing his thing on Tuesday, actually, in that made-up game that was rained out on Monday to open the regular season in 2017. And then in the bottom of the 9th inning, Brad Ausmus started Shane Green in relief, and Shane Green didn't even get an out. He just allowed 2 base runners on, and Brad Ausmus yanked him and put in Francisco Rodriguez for the save, which he got, giving up the 1 run on 2 straight ground balls. That 1 run charged to Shane Green, and then he got a pop-up caught by James McCann over the Tigers' dugout on the first base side to end the game. And then the second game of the 3-game series was postponed and rescheduled for May 26 in a doubleheader starting at 5:10. And Jordan Zimmerman was supposed to start. Instead, and Brad Ausmus could have stuck with Jordan Zimmerman in Game 2 of the regular season. Instead, he went with Matt Boyd. Matt Boyd only won the number 5 starting pitching rotation spot. And Matt Boyd was not even ready for that game.
Are you out of your mind?
And Brad Ausmus fed him to the White Sox Wolves, who ate him up, gave up 5 runs, including a Giovanni Soto 3-run home run. Boyd would end up pitching only 2 1/3 innings. 5 runs on 5 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. Half of it's on Boyd, the other half of it's on Brad Ausmus. And then Ausmus put in Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez pitched a scoreless. Sanchez's first inning was thrown scorelessly, but Sanchez also gave up 5 runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and that was the icing on the cake.
It also didn't help that they only put up, it was 1 run on 2 hits against James Shields. And you got to remember, this isn't James Shields from 8-10 years ago when he was in Tampa and one of the best pitchers in the American League. This ain't big game James anymore. He's more along the lines of just show up to the game James. And they made him look like James Shields circa 2010.
Yeah. And the Tigers' offense wimping out to the cold temperature in Chicago. And we get it. Someone comes up with the excuse that Latino baseball players can't play in the cold. Yes, they can. They're Major League Baseball players.
Cubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Chicago Cubs, of course.
But here's something that does kind of bug me, and it's a little bit weather related. Opening day on Monday in Chicago, I thought it was really stupid that the MLB and the White Sox decided we're going to keep all the fans inside, guaranteed rate ballpark or whatever the hell it's called now, and keep them there. We're going to make them wait it out in the rain when it clearly wasn't going to stop raining. And they did all that, those opening ceremonies, driving players around in trucks and stupid shit like that. They should have just
because opening day is a holiday. Give me a break. It's annoying.
I know. I mean, look, I'll admit, I was at opening day for the Tigers. I mean, I wasn't at the game, but I was just there meeting up with some friends, just kind of go do a little bit of bar hopping. And yeah, it is kind of a fun time, but at the same time, you have to realize if the weather's going to be shit, people aren't going to want to sit there in the rain and cold, and only find out, game's being postponed. Sorry, go home, all soaking wet.
Man, so much hell for nothing.
Yeah, and here's the real kicker. Wednesday's game that got postponed, I guess they thought, it's going to rain today, we're going to postpone the game in the morning. And come game time, it didn't rain a drop.
What a bunch of morons.
Oh my goodness. Either Major League Baseball gets their weather from a pretty bad meteorologist, or they're just stupid.
Maybe they don't even do any fucking homework. Those pieces of shit. They all should be fired.
Or at least pay better attention to the weather, for God's sake.
Yeah. And which leads to Brad Ausmus's dumb decision to hold off Jordan Zimmerman until Saturday, when he plays when he starts on the pitcher's mound in the second of the 4-game series against the Boston Red Sox, right after that home opener that just transpired between Michael Fulmer and Stephen Wright. Michael Fulmer should have gotten the win. Justin Wilson pitched a scoreless 7th inning. Bruce Rondon Man, did he fall flat. Alex Wilson was only allowed to get that one strikeout, and that was it. And Brad Ausmus,
he brought K-Rod in for a 4-out save, which, again, I mean, it goes back to last year. I think at some point early in the season, he was asked, why not bring K-Rod in for a 4-out save? He said, I'm not doing that. And then he proceeded to do it at some point in June or July. And then he goes and brings him in early in the season, and it doesn't work. I mean, fortunately, the Tigers still won the game and got the job done, but it's just evident that Brad Ausmus can't manage the bullpen, and there are relief pitchers who are seemingly lapdogs to the organization, like Bruce Rondon.
Yeah, and Shane Green, too. And Matt Boyd. There's no doubt that this bullpen needs to be addressed. Dave Dombrowski and Al Avila still never address it. I'm glad Dave Dombrowski was fired, but Al Avila, he's got to be next, along with Brad Ausmus.
I agree. And I was actually recording in my other show after further review tonight, and I've said that Brad Ausmus is already on a short leash. If the Tigers start stinking it up in May or June, he's not going to finish the season out. He's essentially in the final year of his contract, and they've either got to extend him or they fire him. And to me, he has done nothing to earn an extension.
Right. They can't extend him. That would be way too much for an unexperienced manager who has never won a playoff game in the majors.
And he still doesn't seem to learn from whenever he fucks up.
Right. And that's pathetic. Brad Ausmus is just a statue stool pigeon. A statue stool pigeon.
To me, he's like that. He's like that uncle that we may or may not have had that lets you get away with stuff that if mom and dad find out you do, you end up getting the stick taken to you.
Yeah. So the Tigers played the rest of their Boston series Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all at 1:10 with Zimmerman, Norris, and Verlander. And then Matt Boyd starts the Twins series when Minnesota comes crawling in Tuesday through Thursday, all games at 1:10 before the Tigers head to Cleveland at Progressive Field. That's going to be a good matchup. The Twins, though, are 3-0. Tigers right now are 2-1. The Twins are going to be another interesting opponent, along with the American League champion Cleveland Indians, without the shadow of a doubt. The Indians were one game away from winning the World Series, just 2 runs away in the 10th inning. But the Cubs finally broke that curse. I'm still happy about, thrilled, as a matter of fact.
Same here.
Yeah. But that was one hell of a series.
Oh yeah, it was. That was one hell of a Game 7 to decide the winner of that series too.
Yeah. Including former Tiger Rajai Davis tying it up with a 3-run home run the bottom of the 8th. It sent them to extra innings. The Cubs would still win by scoring 2 runs in the 10th and allowing 1 run, and still holding on to win. Chris Bryant, the play at third, throwing to first, and that was it. Billy Goat is history.
Yeah.
So So that's Tigers talk. Except for Jacoby Jones, who has been doing pretty well. Got to hand it to him.
Yeah, he has. He's been handling starting in center field quite well, and I believe it was his first at bat of the season. He ended up hitting a home run, so
A 3-run home run.
yeah. So I mean, he's getting it done with the bat, and he's getting it done with his glove too. I mean, even today he ended up having a nice catch in the deepest part of center field.
Oh yeah, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal out there. He's no ordinary rookie.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to keep it up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and then maybe we won't have to worry about this Cameron Maybin trade, at least for now. So we got a couple notes here. First off,
Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Lions wide receiver Anquan Bolden has decided he will likely sign a new contract in July, according to my top co-host Ed Smith here on Spreaker, the Michigan Sports Truth. According to a source, there is still a team to be determined that Anquan Bolden will sign in, and that's going to be one of our 5 questions at the end of the segment, which is near now. The other note, in terms of Michigan State Spartans women's gymnastics, there was a Larry Nassar update regarding a battle over a gag order that could prevent some alleged victims from speaking out in public. I mean, whether it's on social media, on television, or on the radio. I mean, I think something or someone is trying to help Larry Nassar hide from the entire truth that he faced.
I would have to agree with that too, especially if somebody's trying to keep victims from testifying in court or even going to the media about it. There's something going on there.
Yeah.
Where is your honor, dirtbag? You are an absolute disgrace.
He's a no-good stinking crook. Remember, he was alleged for third-degree sexual assault and got arraigned in court meetings last February or March. That was February. And this was pretty serious. Dr. Larry Nassar was suckering in those gymnastics who are only teenagers.
All I know is he's gonna get his day in court. And there's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna be convicted and he's gonna end up going to prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah, this gag order may not mean anything. Just because the alleged victims are not allowed to speak out in public doesn't mean the truth is hidden. It's not. It's already out there. Everybody knows it. Larry Nassar knows it. The prosecutors know it. The courts know it. The juries know it. Everybody else, the judges, you name it. It's all going to come down. It's all going to boil down. And Larry Nassar is finally going to get his sentence.
Yes, he will.
Now, that's all the topics for this episode, and now it's time for the 5 questions segment. Are you ready yet? Are you ready, Frank?
Fire away.
It's time for 5 questions on the Michigan Sports Truth.
Question number 1. Was signing Dennis Chalowski to a 3-year entry-level contract by the Red Wings Ken Holland's mistake or Dennis Cholowski's mistake?
Well, from the people I talked to, given the fact that Ken Holland said he wanted Cholowski to stay in college for 4 years, this kind of makes me believe that this might be more on Cholowski for deciding to turn pro early. And I know I've said it before and I'll say it again. Jeff Moss and I both agree that he's going to get eaten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the pros.
I have to agree.
Unless he ends up hitting the weight room real hard when he's in Grand Rapids or Toledo for that matter. But still, the ultimate onus is on Ken Holland for deciding to trade away Pavel Datsuk's contract to Arizona when he had the opportunity to have Jake Chikrin, the best defenseman available in the draft according to some scouts, even the best skater among North American skaters, not named Austin Matthews. And we've seen what Chikrin has done this season in Arizona. He's been one of their top players. If he would have been on the Red Wings with his point total from Arizona, he would have probably outscored everybody on the blue line not named Mike Green.
Exactly right. The signing of Dennis Cholowski was on Cholowski, but everything else was on Holland.
Next question.
Question number 2. Which is the biggest issue for the Tigers, Brad Ausmus or their bullpen?
I'm going to have to say, hey, both. But I think really the bigger issue is the bullpen still hasn't been fixed. I mean, even though new names might be in, it's basically same shit, different year. You get somebody in who has done well elsewhere, and then they go and they completely shit their pants in Detroit. Why that is, I don't seem to understand it. However, Brad Ausmus is still the one who's calling the shots and making the decisions. And like I said, if this team ends up going through a rough stretch in May or June, he's gone. And I sure hope that he is, and that they promote Omar Vizquel to manager, because I believe that Vizquel at least knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually hope that they get into a rough stretch May or June, maybe April as well, because then and only then will Brad Ausmus likely be fired, and then maybe Al Avila as well, maybe at the end of this train wreck season.
Next question.
Question number 3. Should Boban Marjanovic be the Pistons' starting center?
I think we got our answer tonight with his 27-point, 12-rebound performance against the Houston Rockets.
Compared to Andre Drummond's 8 and 9.
Yeah. I know we have talked about this constantly on Talk Shoe that we need to free Boban. He's got to play. He needs a chance to prove himself. Well, he got that chance tonight, and I would say he should be the number 1 center. I rest my case.
He should have been the center a long time ago, which leads to question number 4.
Next question.
Are the Pistons pretty much done?
Mathematically, they're still alive for the playoffs, but I don't see them getting in. They're gonna need too much help in order to do so. But I think they've got to basically just let Boban play the rest of the season. Let him show what he can do. That way he can say, "Hey, I can be a number 1 center and start for you guys. My playing has done all the talking."
Yeah, they're gonna play Boban the rest of the 3 remaining games, and maybe just maybe Boban can lead the Pistons back into the playoffs, and maybe Boban Marjanovic can help the Pistons win at least one playoff game if they even if they end up playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm I'm not penning the Pistons to win that series either way, whether they play Cleveland or Boston. But if Boban Marjanovic plays in the playoffs more, imagine that. The Pistons need Boban Marjanovic more, and they're gonna play him a lot more from here forward. Think of the jackpots that Boban's gonna hit.
Exactly. And like you said, they should have played him more. And even though they're actually doing that now, I still think it's going to be too little, too late. But at least we're going to have an idea of what he can do, and that he should be the starting center next season.
Yeah, he's a preview of next season for the Pistons, along with Henry Ellenson.
I would agree with that. He's finally gotten his chance, and he dropped 15 points tonight.
Yep, that's true.
Next question.
And finally, question number 5. Which team could Lions wide receiver Anquan Boldin sign with in July?
That's an interesting one, because, Father Time has caught up with Bolden. He can still play, though. He did pretty solid with the Lions last year. If I had to pick a team where he would go to, my gut feeling is he might go to the Patriots, because he might want to ride off into the sunset with the Lombardi Trophy. Because I know he's gotten to go to, I know that he's gone to a Super Bowl with the Cardinals. I believe he actually won one with the Ravens in 2012. So he's got a ring. So I figure he might go to the Patriots, get one more shot at getting a title, and call it a career, or he may end up sticking around in Detroit. It's good. Or, probably third option, he might go back to Arizona and end his career where it started.
He might. You never know. So that wraps up our 5 questions segment. For all the listeners and fans out there, if you want to answer those questions, just replay the episode and answer them in the comment bank below this episode on Spreaker.com. That wraps up episode 259 of Spreaker's feed of the Michigan Sports Truth. Before we sign off, I want to remind everyone that to share this episode and our entire podcast on social media. Have their friends share that as well, and follow me on Spreaker as Taylor Phillips online at Spreaker.com, because we want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth podcast is in search of local advertising sponsors. If anyone has a business that's interested in sponsoring this program, you can follow Sports Radio Detroit on Twitter, because the Michigan Sports Truth is associated and synchronized with Sports Radio Detroit. You can follow Sports Radio Detroit on Twitter at Sports Radio Det, Sports Radio DET, and send them a direct message or email them at Sports Radio Detroit in the contact section, or email its owner, Roger Castillo, at rogcast81@gmail.com. Also like their Facebook page and join their Facebook group. And finally, find their podcast available on iTunes and Podbean. Frank, I want to thank you for filling in for Ed Smith. You did a tremendous job, just like Ed Smith did. And hopefully Ed comes back, and I hope to have you on too. We'll have another roundtable for episode 260.
Sounds like a plan.
Absolutely. So on behalf of Ed Smith, follow him on Twitter at EdSmith313. For Frank Vajner on Twitter at Frank_Vajner, VAJCNER. I'm Taylor Phillips on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth, and join our Facebook group. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks very much for listening. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Bon appétit.